Hi all, today we have the long-awaited episode about Hammer H2, which we are building for off-road. Let me remind you what kind of project. We installed here two portal axles from Mercedes Unimog. The whole suspension is completely different. There is nothing from the Hammer here. We extended the axles, moved the gearbox to the right place, because the axles couldn't fit in. This episode will start with the installation of disc brakes. For this we bought the original Mercedes Unimog brake discs. We went to one place and took a lot of different calipers from BMW of different models. In general, more than one caliper did not suit us. As always, we are helped only by the caliper from the Gazelle. We decided on the rear axle one caliper per wheel. On the front axle we will install two calipers per wheel. The car is heavy and there will be a ride speed large and huge wheels. And the size 17 discs should be installed on the hubs and the brakes let go so that the disc is dressed. Let's start. And here is the final drives from the axles from Mercedes Unimog. Those are the ones that we mounted on our Hammer. Why haven't there been a series for so long? We have hubs in a lathe shop, right under our disc, bolts 8, 125, 161. Those are H2 Hammer and the Dodge Ram 2500. After the turner we took them to coordinates and then was a huge quad. We bought studs and installed them, and we bought bolts that screw the hub. They screw up and completely hide. In my opinion, everything is very well done and no extra spacers. We bought new calipers, we fixed the faceplates on the factory mounts, because the body is cast iron and needed to be adjusted under those mounts. Here the bushing is very dense, a powerful bolt that everything would be well attached. The thickness of the faceplate is 8 mm, somewhere it's thicker or thinner, so it's necessary, in my opinion, everything is reliable. Two rear final drives are fully ready. Let's show you the front. Front final drive. We decided to install two calipers, because if there is the same set at the rear and in the front, then the rear axle will slow down the front. The car is powerful, heavy, and we decided that it would be better that there would be two calipers on wheel in front. Faceplates are the same as in the rear. Mercedes Unimog brake discs. Original. But in diameter are tailored to our size, which would be suitable for 17 disc. The next step is disassembly, and every part is marked and should stand in its place. And we take the axles and final drives to powder paint. So, it's time to take our axles to sandblasting and powder paint. I have read the comments and everyone asks why it takes so long to do the project. I will tell you that there are a lot of factors that affect the deadline. For example, turning works. I'm used to working with professionals, and so they have a lot of people in line. You just have to wait there and then take them to another place and wait again. Then the gimbals and turn again. All the details too, and this is all affects the timing. And now we're going to guys who are doing their job very well. I wouldn't want to change places and have to wait too. Somehow. Here are our axles. Dodge Ram is always in action. Great car. We are waiting, I hope it will not be long. And we'll begin to install the axles. Here is our frame. We cleaned the primer and a lot of layers of paint. It did not turn out very well. Tomorrow we will try in a different way. We cleaned the frame with different technicals, and we successed. And now we're going to start using an epoxy primer with 20% of zinc. Let's get started. We aloft the primer to dry and begin applying the Raptor in 2 layers. And now we can say that we finished the frame. We got a very good result, and we are moving on to the construction of the front axle. The axle itself should be given to us soon. Let me remind you that it's painted with powder paint, and now we're going to start assembling the front axles. or rather it's a rotary mechanism. And now we have gotten to the steering tie rod paint. First coating with epoxy primer and then polyurethane paint. That's the best method I know. And here are our steering tie rods. They have painted. Why didn't I take them to sandblasting and powder painting? Because they don't figure it out. Like this tip. You can take it off after painting. If I bring it in for powder painting, because of the temperature everything will melt. And then you have to throw it away or make it collapsible. What will come out later, if the tip fails. But I think it's coming off in a lot of years. It's still a trunk and it's all very reliable. Well, now we are going to pick up our axles after powder painting. After powder painting, we need to clean all the holes for bush mountings, because the paint makes the part thicker and bush mountings won't fit. We did it all, and here are the original bush mountings. Since we have radius arms from Nissan, respectively we bought Nissan bush mountings. Everything is original. And after we installed the bush mountings in the radius arms, we have been clogged with axles. We are going to clean the part of the sand and we are going to remove the paint where it fits. have loaded the axles into the Dodge, and we'll take the axles to a specialist to tune the main pairs. We don't do that ourselves. This is not a service station. It's simple garage and a person whom I trust with such work. Guys went to bring the axles and I bought those 8 bolts, because if you buy Mercedes Unimog axles, there may be no bolts or anything else in the kit. I will tell you that I am not going to use Mercedes Unimog Porto axles anymore, because they are very difficult to install and they are not worth so much money. You can see that it's all in a private house. Just a man working in his garage. Look at how many people have come to get the axles, and the Volvo axles are very light, and one person can handle them. And now a whole crowd is going to carry those axles, and after construction it's going to take a lot of people to load them.
Но все равно их надо регулировать, Саша, все.
Ну да, да.
Вот с ушком это переднее.
Давайте мы его сразу начнем.
Для того,
Я понял.
чтобы не перепутать, как поставить, я вот здесь меточку
Я
поставил.
понял.
Есть метка. Вот здесь.
As you may have understood, we are not necessarily going to go to expensive service stations. I am always looking for professionals. I have been recommended this person many times, but who doesn't work is not mistaken. Today I am going to go to the coordinate machine, make holes in the parts for the gimbal, which we made for those axles. I will show you this machine too. It just stands in the garage, and the person just comes from the main job and moonlights as a turner. He works in the evening. We are regular customers with this person, and there were no problems, never spoiled the part, and so on, because if you mess something up in those parts, then you have to change everything, and they cost a lot. And we also modified the standard gimbals from the Hammer for our needs. The Hammer did not have this part. It was completely different. It did not suit us. The cardan is power, and I am sure that it will withstand all the loads. The stock chest is powerful, but we installed a more powerful part. In the same way, we modified the rear part. Why did we do this? Let me explain. Here is this part that belongs to the gearbox. There are no holes in the part. We have been waiting for gimbals for more than 10 days. And now we're taking them to the coordinate machine, and we're going to have to wait. That's how it should dock. And you have to make holes and threads in them, to just tighten the bolts, and it was beautiful. We are there.
Там, где делают
High quality holes are made here.
кости.
They said earlier, they will do better than at the service station.
На больших СТО. Вот этот шикарный станочек стоит.
Що це ти провіряєш?
Радиация є.
While the central gearboxes are being assembled, we started assembling the side gearboxes. We bought all the oil seals. The original ones. Those are the ones with triple protection. You only need to install good, original parts. Because there is always dirt getting in here, and if there is no other things, will be bad. This one costs $100. And we had this part die. It was all in the corrosion. It's not reliable. We found another one and there is no problem with it. 3 oil seals are the same and one is slightly larger. Here are guys more oil seals for our portal axles. This is a repair oil seal. It's slightly different from those oil seals in its size. It is a little larger. Triple protection, here is the first, the second and the third. Here is the part installed in the final drives on the semi-axles. We bought the original ones. Those are not cheap but original. The old one. And there are also details in the rear side gearbox. Those are the ones we picked up, the Corteco company, in terms of our size. This is for the flannel that we made. Those oil seals will be installed. There's going to be 4 of them, and then one of them grease, and then another one is installed. Because there is not going to be any grease in there, and they're just going to burn out. We think 1 each of grease is enough for them.
И литол будет смазывать сальники.
Good news, the master called and said that the front gearbox was ready. Let's go pick up.
Ну вот так настроилась пара вообще отлично.
Это хорошо. То есть мы уже ничего здесь не протягиваем.
Все, ничего, там все протянуто, Саша. Здесь я фиксатор поставил, потому что он говорит, я потом покручу. Там такая пружина мощная, ну и хрен покрути попасть туда, понимаете?
Он на герик там уже все.
Да. Там я все смазал, все манжеты, все подул, все посмазывал, все там хорошо ходит. Здравствуйте.
Все продуто, все нормально.
Все,
да,
все,
там
все,
станет
все,
ничего.
ничего не.
And now let's put the axle in its place and we begin to assemble the final drives. That's happened. It's finally on wheels. The front axle is already in place, springs and so on. Almost the entire front suspension is assembled. The only thing is that we did not install shock absorbers. Let me remind you that there will be Fox shock absorbers with remote receiver, already tuned to the weight of the car. The height of the car impressive, but it will be slightly lower, slightly, because it is still on powerful jacks. We will lower when the rear axle is installed. Maxxis triple-door wheels of the 32 size with 14.5 disc size 17 wheels we took from Dodge Ram. Why Dodge Ram? There is a suitable position of the boat and ET plus 20, because the rest of the ET is closer to 0. And we have the axles extended and we would not like the wheels to stick out far from the car. Now the wheel is quite a bit product intolerable. When we install the rear axle, we will call the client and decide which wheels we'll order for new tires. I did not say before, but the client said that size 32 is already small and we decided to take the 36 bugger at 19.5. The man wanted to make a monster with wide wheels. Agreed that there is no rubber more beautiful than bugger. Wheels will be made on order with the right ET that the client will like. With and the wheels will immediately be specially for off-road. About our business, we completely finished the car, front, rear bumper, power seals, roof rack, and when the new rubber comes in, we're going to measure it, because we're going to have to change the body a little bit, and then we're going to be able to give the bumper to powder paint, and install the extenders, and so on. Somewhere we're going to have to change it because the 32s are different from the 36, and so the wider, the more arches we need to cut. In general, I told you and showed you what we did with our most complex project. It's really a very complex project. Axle, suspension, something does not fit, etc. Everything is done to order. I complained it to you a little bit earlier that all this is complicated for a long time, and most likely that we will not make such cars, because in so much time we can make several cars on Laplanders. It's a work at a loss, but if I take it, I will finish, and I won't say more expensive, because the price has already been negotiated. And the contract is most important. If you like the car, put a like, subscribe to the channel, and goodbye.
Сложнейший, повторю еще раз. Поставьте обязательно лайк, подписывайтесь на канал. Пока, ребят.